They got problems on problems on problems on problems on problems on problems. I solve them. I run through the money, the pressure be calling. Left on my blessings, I feel like I'm falling. The birdie is back. Tell me I'm garbage, I'm going through something. That's why I ain't calling. Phone and progression, it's all that I wanted. The phone and affection, I summon and dub it. Cause I got problems on problems on problems on problems on problems on problems. I solve them. I run through the money, the pressure be calling. Left on my blessings, I feel like I'm falling. The birdie is back. Tell me I'm garbage, I'm going through something. That's why I ain't.
Yeah, it's been a long, long day, but you're listening to the Urban Sports Scene with myself, Wole. And you know, it's Friday, so it's our Commanders time. This is when we start hitting Commander stuff. Before we talk about some Commanders, let me knock out some logistics. Subscribe to our podcast on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, TuneIn, iHeartRadio, and other podcast platforms. Just search the Urban Sports Scene. Also, make sure you subscribe to our Urban Sports Scene YouTube channel. Please hit that red subscribe button and also like this video. Don't forget to tweet us at Urban Sports Scene. Hit us up on IG and TikTok at Urban Sports Scene. Also, like our Urban Sports Scene Facebook page. Also, join our Urban Sports Scene Facebook group. Just search Urban Sports Scene, sports bloggers, sports podcasters, and sports debates. All right, my man Will T used to normally say this. So I'm going to say it for him. Let's get into our tradition, the pregame. Here's what we have on tap. Host of the Sports for the Culture presented by Gas Sports Network, Bryce and Rome will join me to debate which Washington Commanders draft selection will have the most impact next season. Let me not waste any time. Let me introduce the fellas. What is going? Hold on, here we go. What's going on, Rome? Hold on, come on, y'all. Work with me. Work with me. Work with me. There we go. What's going on, Rome and Bryce?
What up, man?
What is good, Joe? What is good, man? Glad to have you on. I was on y'all show before, and I love y'all show. So before we talk about the topic at hand, please tell our listeners about your show. Rome, Bryce, y'all can have the floor.
Yeah, man. I mean, Bryce, you wanna start it off, man? You one of the co-founders.
All right, yeah, I can kick it off. So yeah, there we go, right there.
You know what I'm saying? So go break it. It's only B-roll. So go ahead. Tell the folks about yourself. Like you got your 4-man team. Tell them about the show. The show is dope.
So we got our 4-man team. We record every Tuesday night. It's called Gas Presents Sports for the Culture. Tap in with us. We live every Tuesday night. YouTube, just search Gas Sports Network and tap in. Go ahead and subscribe, like those videos, and stay tuned in with us. We have sports debates, but it also intersects with the culture. So there's no telling where our conversation can go sometimes. Me and my guy Rome also have a Commanders podcast that we started back when they were the Redskins. We are the original HTTC. Right?
I love it.
Yeah, so the Commanders podcast is called Hail to the Culture, and we started that HTTC brand before Commanders was even a thing. So go ahead and tap in with that too. We come live with that show about once a week, sometimes more, sometimes less. We're getting back into the regular routine with that as the season gets closer.
What? So I asked this question. Any podcaster, what got you started to want to be in the podcast space?
Man, well, I'll say this: me and Rome followed each other on Twitter for a minute, and I used to always see his tweets about the Skins. He would see mine, and I just started DMing him. One day I was like, "Bro, I see you. You know your shit." You know, I had to watch this. My bad.
No, you good? No, we free out here, bro. Cool, we free out here. You good?
I said, you know your stuff, man. I know my stuff. Like, let's tap in one time. And we had a couple conversations, phone conversations, talking about the Commanders. From there, we just kind of hit the ground running. So I think it was more like meeting of the minds, trying to combine knowledge, and just he had good takes. I felt like I had good takes, and it worked out.
So Rome, how did it work out for you? Like were you always having that itchy bug for podcasting, or did Bryce?
Man. Like everybody that knows me knows my whole life is basically centered around sports. Like that. Like I just came from coaching my son's team, 7v7 football. So everybody that knows me knows I talk sports. So Bryce seen the tweets. I run my mouth all day, especially about the Redskins, Commanders. And then when we linked up, the first time he hit me, I wasn't even sure about it. But when we linked up and the chemistry was there, the vibes were right. So I was like, yeah, we definitely gotta do this podcast thing, man. And our love and passion for the team is what drives us. Because one thing about us, and you're similar in the same way, like it don't matter what's going on around the world, I'm gonna be tapped into the Commanders. One way or another, I'm gonna be on the pulse of this team. So,
and you all also talk about multiple sports. So like, how is that? Like it's hard for me to do it because I love basketball. I mean, I obviously I'm tapped into the Commanders, Redskins, regardless. But I love basketball, and it's hard for me to kind of go in on talking basketball like I want to, because I'm also a Lakers fan, because I feel like if you one-sided, I'm not a Wizards fan. So It'd be one-sided, and a lot of folks obviously, because stuff that I do around here in terms of covering, like at times freelancing and covering the Wizards and stuff. That's hard, like to actually watch the Wizards game. I'm not gonna lie to folks. That is a hard thing to do. I don't want to even lie to y'all. Y'all know it's hard. I ain't gonna hold you. But like, how is it like covering all sports? Like, how do you kind of separate what to tackle, what to talk about?
Yeah, that's definitely one of the things we have to hone in on and like really figure out week to week what we're going to discuss. We kind of do it like polling the whole group. So we got a few other fellas. Shout out to Scruff, shout out to T, shout out to Gerardo. That's our gang that we on with every week. So we try to pinpoint the hottest topics, the stuff that most people want to hear about right now. Like for instance, right now we're not talking too much hockey. We're more talking playoffs, NFL off season. Kind of what moves the needle for our subscribers and our audience, but also what we keep tuned into the most. But we do when something like big goes down, we typically discuss it. So we try to stay, I would say, more on the mainstream side of it, and so I guess that's kind of how we more or less decide. But you're right, man. You don't want to be a jack of all trades, master of none type of thing. Sometimes in the podcasting lane, and I think with like our show that's on every Tuesday night, that's kind of where the culture comes in. So you can always expect crazy culture. Like last week, we had a 40-minute conversation about 100 men versus a gorilla. So,
man, what's up with that, man? I don't even get that. Where'd that start from? Where did that come from, Joe? Real talk.
The internet somewhere, but not to Bryce's point, man. I have a saying on the sports for the culture. So you come for the sports, you stay for the culture. So like typically whatever big sports event, we'll find a way to tie it in the culture. So even if it's a sport we don't normally talk about, such as hockey, if there's a way that connects to the culture or to, like you said, our subscribers, our main viewers, then we'll definitely chop it out about that anytime. We don't talk too much baseball. We will get into nationals from now and then, but whatever's trending, whatever's the pulse of the culture, we stay tuned in.
I mean, sports and the culture, they do go hand in hand. Like let's keep the buck for real. Like always, you know what I mean? Always. All right, so let's get into this topic. Before I actually get into this topic, first I do want to get your overall thoughts on the draft. Bryce, I'm gonna start with you because you do watch a lot of. You told me like you watch a lot of college football. You break down some of these individuals. Were you happy with all the draft selections? What would you kind of grade it out?
Bro, it's hard. It's hard for me not to give the Commanders an A in that draft. Okay. Starting from pick one, like Josh Connolly, I was high on, and we discussed this a couple weeks back, fellas. I was hoping that they drafted him, right? And 103rd draft. That's crazy work.
Tosh, you crazy, bro.
I'm gonna tell you what, that you give into them thirst traps, that 800 gonna become a 500.
real quick. Real quick.
Turning thirst traps down, fellas. But I would say I was real satisfied with the pick, especially in the first round. Like Josh Connolly, I was high on. Felt like you go back and run that Abdul Carter tape versus Josh Connolly, you'll see why I was high on him. So I was real happy with that pick. Second round, I like that pick too. I thought Trey Amos would go a lot higher. I wouldn't have been surprised if they took him in the first round. So whenever you get a player with that value, I know we got a little news about a back injury starting to come up, but
is it? Okay.
Yeah, that's what they're saying. But whenever you get a player with that value that high, you gotta love it. And then they went and grabbed some speed, right? I ain't gonna go through every pick, but then they went and grabbed some speed. And I think the offense, right? We all could agree that last year we was lacking speed on the offense, right? Like we had guys that could make a little play, but nobody that could really take it to the house. And I think now you add Jalen Lane in there. That's a guy that can take it to the crib, and he can stretch the field. Terry not gonna be the only player stretching the field, and we needed somebody to replace that Diami speed that we lost. So I really like that Jalen Lane pick too. I like the draft overall. I give him an A. Okay. Maybe I'm a little biased because they picked some of the players that I had kind of targeted for him. So that could be my bias coming in there. But I like it a lot, man.
I mean, it's all biased to be real with you in terms of they pick the guys you like, because personally I had like an issue with I had an issue initially. Because I wanted, when my man Will Johnson fell to us, I was like, we should have had him. But it's okay though. I'm still trying to get over it. I'm just getting over not getting Will Johnson. I'm just getting over it. Hey, what about you, Ron?
Nah, yeah, man. So it was funny because we discussed it on the Health to the Culture podcast, the potential of them going O-line first pick. Because I don't know if a lot of people saw that coming, pre-draft or thought that was, where they should go first. A lot of people saying edge rusher. But Bryce had broke it down, the idea of getting another tackle and kicking Coleman inside, and that seems to be exactly what they were thinking and what they're going to do, which I think is a genius move. I think Conley and Amos as the first 2 picks, and then you add Lane with all that speed. I got to give the draft an A. It's kind of hard not to. What I'll drop it down to a B plus. All right, we certainly needed a pass rusher, and they did not address that in the draft. But with the picks that they did take, it's almost like you can't be too mad at not getting a pass rusher, because to your point from earlier, Bryce, Amos in the 2nd round is a crazy value pick. Like, that's a 1st round pick that you got late in the 2nd. That's a potential starter, and we'll talk about that here in a minute too. I think he's going to make a big impact right away. So those first 2 picks kind of make me want to lean towards an A, but because they didn't address pass rusher, I'll give them a B plus.
It's crazy because it's something that Bryce said when I was on your show, and that kind of stuck with me. And I kind of like, because obviously I wanted the edge rusher. That was my first the first pick I wanted. But when something Bryce said, like, in terms of getting an edge rusher in this draft, like, those edge rushers are going to like change the direction of your team on the defensive side of football, because what they did in the offseason. It's like you can't say that like that edge rusher is going to change your defense. You know what I mean? And like at the end of the day, like, this defense still has, to be honest, we still has flaws, regardless of the fact of who they drafted or whatnot. So when he said that, I was like, dang, he's right. Maybe they should do whatever it takes to help Jayden. So with that train of thought, I'm not like mad at getting the tackle with the first round pick. I wasn't upset with it, but I guess for me, like, it goes against like what, like, so my only question is, and we're gonna get to the main topic. My only question is that when Dan Quinn said that Coleman was gonna try Coleman out at right tackle, was that a lie, or is it going to be a competition? You know what I mean? Like, and then whoever loses that competition is gonna be slide to the guard.
That's a good question. That's a good question. And Dan Quinn was a little vague with it. He did say we're gonna try him on the right side. All right, so he might be starting from the right.
All right,
I'm joking with that one. But I think you bring up a good point, right? And I think Coleman showed enough last season that there was some promise there, and there was started to be some expectations, right? We all felt like once we got Big Tunsil that Coleman was going to the right tackle spot. But I think Coleman has not only one the body type, but also the play type that fits perfect at guard, right? And I think if you can kick Coleman inside, I'm cool with not having to watch Allegretti no more. And I don't dislike Allegretti.
I do. But you can get him out of here, bro.
He's not that athletic guard. I think Allegretti is solid in pass protection. He's a decent run blocker too, but he's not the type of guard that can get to the 2nd level though. Right? And I think we saw a lot of that last season on those B-Rob runs that weren't really getting no action after at the line of scrimmage, because there wasn't a whole lot of push at the 2nd level. And I think you get a more athletic line that could even help the running game too, in addition to the pass protection. So I feel you there. I was a little surprised, or I did come away with a couple of questions like, what's Coleman's future look like? But I always felt like he was better off at guard either way. So
what about you, Ron?
Yeah, and I don't want to disrespect Allegretti. I think he's a great locker room piece. I think he fits with what Dan Quinn's vision of the team is, and I think he could honestly be a people don't think about it like this. The backups are very important sometimes. If you got a good look at Marcus Mariota for Jayden Daniels. Sure. If we do kick Coleman inside, Allegretti could be instrumental in Coleman's success at the NFL level at guard. But I do think, to Bryce's point, Coleman gives a little bit more athleticism, a little more talent. So I didn't want to come across like I was just disrespecting Allegretti, but
it's okay.
At the same time, I think Bryce really sold me on the Hell to the Culture podcast when we had you on with the O-line moves. I think this was the best move, because you're going to put one of the best offensive lines that this team has had in years, really since we lost Trent, maybe even since dating back to some of those years with Trent in front of Jayden. And I don't see how that could be, a problem for any Commanders fan. If you're telling me we're going to put the best 5 people in front of Jayden Daniels that we could possibly get, that's probably really the only move that you really should have made. The defense can come later.
Yeah, I agree. I totally agree. I think it definitely was I give you, Bryce, it's crazy because any show I'm on, I give you your flowers. I don't take that. I don't take that. Take what you told me as my own, because I feel like that's just dirty as hell. But I'll be like, I got this idea from my guy Bryce, and he was like, he schooled me to it. At first, I was real stubborn, obviously. Like I ain't gonna lie, I wanted the defensive player. That 55 really is just nasty work to me. I can't get 55 out of my head. Like 55 in the NFC Championship game, like it bothers me. But I get it now. Like you like Rome said, your point was definitely spot on. All right, so let's get into the actual topic for today's show. All right, so we like grading this draft. You all have around an A, B plus. And there are some players that I feel like can definitely help this team off the rip. But for you guys, who do you think is gonna have? I'm gonna start with you, Rome. Who do you think is gonna have the most impact? Which rookie's gonna have the most impact next season? Not in the future, not from years to come, but next year, this season or next season. Which rookie do you feel is going to have the biggest impact for this team?
Now, see, I was torn on this question. I told you guys in the pre-show I was going back and forth. So the thing is, like, obviously Conley's probably a day one starter, right? Yeah. I mean, more than likely. Good chance that Trey Amos is also a day one starter. There'll be a little bit more of a competition for him, but we could easily see him at the outside week one, right? Now at the corner, you're gonna have more of an opportunity to make an impact. You know, if he comes away with a couple pick sixes this season, it'll be hard to argue that he didn't have the biggest impact, right? Yeah. But the thing is, you can also get exposed at that side. You can get exposed at tackle as well, but I think Conley will probably have a bigger impact than Amos, just because the division that we're in. And I know Amos is going to face a lot of tough receivers as well, but he's going to go against some of the premier pass rushers. Michael Parsons, some would say, is the best pass rusher in the league. So Conley being the first pick, I think not only has to make that impact because he's basically guaranteed to be the starter, but I think he'll probably have the most impact just off the strength of the guys that he's going to have to go against and have to show out against. But my dark horse for this, though, is boy from Tech, Lane. Now, if he ends up at punt returner and he can be a consistent threat at punt returner, I wouldn't be surprised if he ends up having a bigger impact than either one of those guys. Now, I know it's a long shot because he might not get as much playing time, but if he can get some ticket at wide receiver, find a connection with Jaden, and he's our returner and he's killing it, his impact could be out of here.
I'm feeling you. I do think Lane has a lot of potential because of special teams to do something big. What about you, Bryce?
Yeah, now Rome made some good points right there.
Yeah.
Hard to argue any of that. I think I really do like Amos. I feel like it's going to be baptism by fire early on, though.
Yep.
I wouldn't be surprised if we end up with Eagles week one. We got some tough receivers in the division, especially now.
But crash out.
Yeah, right. They got over there now. So it don't matter who Amos plays in the division. It's going to be a decent receiver going. Neighbors and Gabe Davis now, right? I mean, the division just stepped up, and obviously, of course, you got AJ Brown, Devontae. So I think it'd be a bit of a baptism by fire for my man Amos. So I think he's going to get a lot better as the season progresses. I think Connolly, I could see it being something similar for Connolly. I think the only knock I had on Connolly was the play strength. Yeah. And I feel like that might take a year or two to develop. I think his finished product gonna be crazy, but obviously we just talking about next year.
Yeah.
So I got a bit of a dark horse.
Go for it.
I'm really high on my guy Croskey-Merritt, man.
Okay, my man Paul loves him too. Okay, you're really high on him. Okay, all right. Tell me what.
I am, man. I am. And you gotta throw on the New Mexico tape, and obviously that tape is from 2023. So he didn't get no run in the past season because of some crazy, ridiculous NCAA violations where his red shirt year, they didn't count as a red shirt year because he played a few too many snaps or something like that. Ridiculous rules. But I do think that obviously we've all heard the chatter from the fan base, right, about B-Rob. And I think that a lot of people are tired of B-Rob, unfortunately.
I know why.
I know, and I'm high on B-Rob. The yards per carry goes up every season. I rock with B-Rob. But I do think Croskey-Merritt could be the perfect complement. I think we kind of saw it with Eckler last year in that role that he played, where it was kind of like the lightning and thunder with him and B-Rob.
Yep.
But I think the difference between Eckler and Ja'Cory is going to be that Croskey-Merritt can take it to the crib. He's got that second gear. And I remind people, this guy won the MVP of the East-West Shrine game after not playing football all year. So, like, there's something there. And I think if he would have played this season, we would have looked at a player that was probably more in that third, fourth round draft range versus the seventh round that he went in. Damn near undrafted free agent, right? Going that late in the seventh. So I really wouldn't be shocked if he has like the type of emergence that we saw from like a Bucky Irvin last year, right?
Ooh,
when Bucky Irvin started firmly that number 2 spot behind Rashad White for the Bucks. And then once we got to the end of the season, it was all about Bucky Irvin over there, right? So if anybody is in a dynasty fantasy football league and you a Commanders fan too, go ahead and draft Corey Croskey-Merritt, put on the end of your roster, and you know, thank me later. All right.
Let's see, we got some comments. Todd said the fan base is mad at B-Rob because their own expectations was off. B was never drafted to be the primary running back. He was always supposed to be number 2. So that's a good comment. I mean, I like B-Rob. I think B-Rob could be like a semi number 1. I think he's a good thunder and lightning type of dude.
Yeah, he's a good 1-2 punch.
Yeah, I think he's like
first, second down.
Yeah,
give me them hard yards. Make third down easy. But for the way that the game is today, he's just not that type of passing back. So like his third down value is just not there.
But it's wild. He was like the year before under. I mean, I know people hate what's the old boy offensive coordinator
Turner.
No, before, after him. I'm having a moment.
Oh, Bieniemy.
And Bieniemy, he was catching the ball like crazy on Bieniemy. He was catching it with his hands. He was actually looking like a handsy running back out the backfield. Not like screens. I'm just talking about flat out even routes out the backfield. So it's crazy. Like he's gotten better than me even in that realm. Obviously, like it's the breakaway speed that everybody kind of like ills on. But he's had some big plays running the football. Now he's been walked a lot, but still he's had some big runs. He's had some big runs at the same time. But yeah. I like to so Bryce, you going with the running back as that's the guy you think will have some impact.
I think he can have a big impact, especially when you look at our running back room and the lack of explosiveness. I would say from our running back room, I think he's gonna be one of them early fan favorites after preseason. I think everybody gonna love the dude. They're gonna have to give him some snaps.
My man said,
and I also think that's a more easy position to make an impact from as a rookie, you know. That's another way I'm looking at this, right?
It's true.
What's the easiest position to come in as a rookie and go crazy? We see rookie running backs go crazy almost every year.
Yeah, that's true.
It wouldn't shock me.
Yeah, the transition from college to the NFL isn't that crazy for running back.
It isn't. It really isn't. You're right. It's just it's depending on like the O-line and system too to kind of like work with your skill set. Mike said, my surprise pick to make the team is Gabe Taylor. I know everybody's hoping for it. We'll see. We'll see what works out. I hope he makes the team, but that's more of obviously everybody, you know, Sean Taylor, everybody's gonna have that type of vibe for it. Yeah. He said, Paul said exactly he can pop faster at running back. Yeah, he can. I'm be interested to see how Cliff uses him. So for me, it's going to be the cornerback Amos. I like Amos a lot. I ain't gonna lie. I think I think that it's almost how I view. I still think the 2 outside corners are starting the season is going to be Lattimore and Mikey. I do think they're going to start the season that way, but I feel like, you know, everybody runs 3-set wide receivers anyway. I feel like when they run 3-set, Mikey's going to be kicked in. When they run 2 sets, it's going to be Mikey and Lattimore. When they go 3, Mikey will go inside and Amos will go outside. That's just what I think they're going to do. And I like Amos in that situation at the end of the day. I do think his physicality, when we're looking at a Dan Quinn, like when we're looking at guys who fit someone's defense, and I'm using Dan Quinn because we're all experienced with Dan Quinn's defense. Joe Witt, we're not really familiar with because at the end of the day, he's still new at being a defensive coordinator. It's going to be year 2. But Dan Quinn, we know as him being the head coach, and it's all, you know, him being the head coach, obviously is his style of defense. We look at Seattle, big corners, physical corners, right? And I just feel like with his body of work, his track record, that's the type of corner that tends to be successful under his coaching tree, period. So I just think that Amos fits what he likes in the corner. And also, if you look at his tape, look at his tape, like he's on you, like he on you. He ain't like and he's not like the guy that gets the pick sixes or anything, but he covers. Like he's covered, he's around you. So I just feel like in terms of a coverage corner, he fits what Dan Quinn's going to do.
I think,
you're right.
And
Go ahead.
And not to compare him to someone from the past, but I think like when we drafted Forbes a few years back, a lot of people were hyping on him because he was on the ball,
Yeah.
ball hog, making plays in
Yeah.
college, and that didn't really translate to the NFL. Because the thing is, like I said, for running backs, it's the easy transition, not so much for corners. The corners, when you look at corner tape in college, you really want to see who's in the right spot. If the guy that's not getting targeted a bunch in college is the guy that's going to translate more to the NFL.
Good point.
Because you're not going to be able to jump receivers the way you were in college. These guys are way faster, way quicker. The routes are way sharper. So I think Amos will translate well. I didn't pick him for my most impactful, and I wanted to originally, but the main reason is because I look at the cornerback room, and Mikey impressed the hell out of me last season. He was supposed to be the mainly the nickel guy. When they put him on the outside, he stood up. He made plays against AJ Brown and Devontae Smith. So I really think it's going to be hard to leapfrog him. They also picked up my man Jones from the Patriots.
Which
that's a vet,
Allison.
Solid.
Yeah.
Solid vet corner, another guy who can play inside or out. And the thing with corner is knowledge is power. So if you got a vet and you got a rookie, even if the rookie's a little bit more talented and off the bat, it is hard to leapfrog a guy who understands the coverages and what the receivers are going to do in certain situations, because that trumps a lot of stuff, especially a cornerback. So I think to Bryce's point, Amos will get better as the season goes along. I'd like to see him crack the start lineup right away, but I do think he's going to have to ball out in camp and preseason to really earn that spot.
But do you think? I guess my thing is I don't expect him to start either. But even for me to say he's going to have the most impact, do you feel like my thing because today's NFL, like no one's running 2 sets anymore, like 2 wide receiver sets. It's all like 3 sets. So he's going to be on the field a lot. You know what I mean? Like you look at, for instance, Dallas is going to go, like Dallas isn't just going to be out there saying we're going to have 2 wide receivers out there. Like they're going to spread you out. You know what I mean? CD's going to be in the inside. Obviously you're going to have Crash out on the outside and another receiver on the other outside. Because CD does most of his work in the slot. So they're going to run 3 receivers. They're going to run 3 receivers, a 3 receiver situation anyway. So he'll probably have I can envision him checking Crash out. I'm calling him Crash out. That's all I care about. That's what I'm calling him now. I'm going to call him by his government. He's going to be named as Crash out. So he's going to be in situations like that. Even the Eagles, a lot of times, like they kind of go three wide outs. You know what I mean? So will it be a situation where he'll be on the field, but also it's like Bryce said, it's baptism by fire. Like he is going to be in a situation where he's going to see a dog. Like real talk. When he's going to be on that, he's going to see the AJ Browns and Pickens of the world. That's who he's going to see for real. He's going to see the big dudes out there. Like he's going to see Neighbors, but Neighbors are going to move around too. He'll be in the slot too. They'll move Neighbors around everywhere. But he's going to see Neighbors every once in a while too. So he's going to be out there being tested. So I feel like he has the best. Yeah, I feel like he has a good opportunity to show the world, like, all right, I'm here. Like he has a good opportunity because when you're a corner, everybody sees you. Everybody knows you're doing work, and everybody knows you're getting burnt. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like that. It is what it is.
It's tough for a rookie corner, though. It's definitely tough for a rookie corner to make that impact.
I agree. I'm just saying, like, because you're right. It can go all the way left. Don't get it twisted. It can go all the way left. Like I'm not, but I do like I like what he brings to the table though. Like that's the one thing. It's just it's the player more than like the position. I like the player, right? Like obviously what he's going to go against is going to be tough, but I do like his moxie. I like what he brings to the table. Physicality is what this coaching staff loves from their corners. That's why, Forbes, truth be told, it wasn't that Forbes, he wasn't physical enough. They love physicality at corner. That's what they love. The reason, like Lattimore, he's a physical corner. Mikey, it's a physical corner. Like they love physical corners, and Amos kind of fits that physicality. Not even just because of stature, because of mentality.
Thanks.
You know what I'm saying? So, all right. So in terms of, because you kind of went through it a little bit in terms of the situation, what is the challenges? And Bryce, I'm gonna start with you because you brought the running back. So you brought the running back. So what would you say would be the challenge for, say, a what's his name for the rookie back from Arizona? I'm having a moment right now. What's the Merritt? What would be the challenges for him to, say, crack that starting lineup? Like, what would be his challenge?
Well, his challenge out the gate is the fact he's a 7th round pick, right? Yeah. You come in as a 7th round pick, you're not really getting them same opportunities.
Mm-hmm.
I think that was working in his favor, though, and I think really we should keep an eye on this for all of the draft picks. What's working in their favor is they're the first or only second draft class of this new regime, right? And one thing about NFL regimes is they like their own guys more than they like everybody else, right? So as much as they may rock with B-Rob, you know, they didn't draft B-Rob. You know what I'm saying? And the fact they drafted this guy should give him some opportunity. I think preseason is going to be huge for him, right? We're going to probably see a game or two, probably the last 2 games of the season where he's the bell cow back in the preseason. And I think that will be what really, you know, shows itself for him. Now, one thing I'll say about him, and it was a negative as far as his draft stock went, the fact that he didn't play this past season. But I think it'll be a positive for his overall career. Right? We always talk about running backs. We talk about mileage and how quickly they go from star to out the league, right? And when you got a guy that's got a year less mileage than everybody else, really like a year and a half, that could bode well for him. You know what I'm saying? That could bode real well for him. So I'm looking at that as a positive for him. I think it'll probably take a little bit of time to steal that spot from B-Rob. But it really wouldn't shock me by the end of the season. He's our bell cow back and the guy that we give in the bulk of the carries to. So I would say the challenge number one for him is working through that stigma of being a 7th round draft pick.
Yeah, I know. I gave him that stigma. I ain't gonna lie to you. When folks are debating with me if he's gonna get more playing time, I'm like, it's a 7th round pick, y'all. Stop it. That's what I was doing.
So on the show, I think I may have mentioned him on the show. But one thing I like to take a look at, and I urge everybody to take a look at this during the pre-draft process. I love to pay attention to who they bring in for visits. And they brought him in for a visit. And then once I saw that, I'm like, okay, they're interested in this guy. So all the running backs they brought in for visits, I went back and watched the tape. And out of all those backs, to me, he was the most impressive. Out of the ones they brought in for visit, and that included who I was really high on going into the process, Caleb Johnson from Iowa. Who I thought was a dog going into the process. Yeah. But throw on that New Mexico tape, man. This boy is a dog, bro. I'm telling y'all gonna like him.
I mean, I like Travion. Did they bring Travion? Did they bring Travion in?
I don't think they had him for a 30 visit. I don't remember seeing his name.
I don't think they did either. That's what I'm mad at. It's okay though.
Okay. That's a good point, Bryce, about a running back having that year off. I think that actually gives him a little bit of an advantage, especially because we saw what happened with B-Rob towards the end of the season. After that injury, he really slowed down. You know what I'm saying? He was kind of killing it the first half. He got that injury, and then he never really got back to form. So, I mean, if you get some fresh legs in there, that's a difference maker.
And to not play all season and then to come out and win the MVP of the East-West Shrine game,
right?
You know what I'm saying? That tells me something. Bruh, ready. And, I think he's going to be a solid addition. I'm excited to see him.
All right, so I'm gonna go to you. What do you think is gonna be the challenge for Conley Jr.?
I mean, I think the biggest challenge for Conley Jr. is going to be Michael Parsons. There's going to be guys to the same point of Amos. It's going to be baptism by fire. It's a little bit harder to gauge the impact of an O lineman. So I feel like it was a little bit of a safer pick. We'll all know if Amos is making an impact, right? Like I said, if he gets a couple pick sixes, it's obvious, right?
Yeah, right.
But it'll be a little harder to tell. But to Bryce's earlier point about not drafting a edge rusher in this draft because it doesn't change your defense, I think that's why they drafted Conley. I think Conley being on this offense changes the offense. I really believe that he's going to make the offense a lot better than what it was. And if you can't stop another team from scoring 55, then you got to put up 56. And I think Conley helps the run game. I think he's obviously going to help the pass game. And to be honest, man, we saw the Giants pick up Carter. We saw what it looked like last year. We all applauded Coleman, right? For what Coleman came in and did. And I'm always going to show love to a guy with the last name Coleman. Probably a long lost cousin. but we saw what he did when he came in, playing a position he did not even play in college, right? At the NFL level. We talk about the transition, how hard that is. That's a crazy leap. He held his own. So he's got nothing but respect. But to Bryce's point again, man, you kick him back to his natural position. You put Conley at the right tackle. You got a stud left tackle in Tunsil. The hope is eventually Conley can supersede Tunsil. So I think this was just a genius move. I think the impact will be seen in the overall offense, right? So we might not know. We might see Conley get beat by Parsons and give up a sack, right? Or give up a bad play in some way. But if we win that game and we don't notice Conley, stopping them another 20, 40 times, then that's impact, right? If all of a sudden B-Rob's average per carry continues to go up, or he's able to make some bigger runs, that's gonna be part of Conley's impact. So I think that his impact will be gauged by the overall offense and what Cliff is able to do with them. Don't forget, Cliff is the one that left a note on my man's desk saying to draft Conley. How many times do you get a offensive coordinator saying, "Hey, I really want this lineman first"? That means you got plans for him.
That's true.
Can I piggyback off that
point?
Yeah,
go for it, bro.
Ron was going with that, and it made me think about something. Well, like you might have brought this up on when we had you on, but like it kills two birds with one stone, right? Because we're getting better on the interior, and there's a good chance that Connolly comes in and day one is better than Wiley. Maybe he's not better than day one, right?
Yeah.
But even if he's not, right? One thing we know about Jaden from watching him last season is that the outside rush don't bother him as much as the inside rush. You know what I'm saying? So even if Conley got to go through some growing pains and the outside rush is still getting home here and there, I trust Jaden to elude that outside rush way more than I trust him any quarterback just about to elude the inside rush, right? So I think that's another thing that could really help the team is you kicking Coleman, big athletic body on the inside, and now that outside, we already got a quarterback that can kind of avoid them outside rushes. So that's another thing I like about the move.
That is a good point because in the beginning of the season, folks weren't really that negative on sorry ass Wiley. I can be disrespectful all I want. I don't be caring. But Jaden made him look better because it's the fear we saw. All right, we saw it in 2012. Like even in 2012, like the best offensive lineman we had in 2012 was obviously Trent. That's on the left side, right? And everybody else was undersized. But when you had the mobility of Griffin, it was like, all right. It didn't really matter for the rest. It didn't matter because you were worried about him running. So when he's in the pocket, defenses were still kind of like they weren't fully rushing. Edges weren't fully rushing because they had to play containment, right? So it does the same thing. And on the flip side, it did the same thing with Jay last year, even with Wiley. And the thing about what's cool with Jaden is that it's on the right side, so he can see the rush. He's a right-handed quarterback, so he can see the rush. So it's a good point with Connerly Jr. is that. Even if he does struggle, right? Let's be real. Even if he does struggle, right? He's going to be able to see the rush. He's going to see it and he can react. You know what I mean? So it is a good point so when he gets settled down and becomes a better right tackle, right? Say when he does reach his level where he's comfortable at right tackle, right? And whatever level that is, he could be better than Wiley. I totally agree with that. Like he can, and that would be an upgrade regardless. I am with like even though. I do believe that I'm gonna keep saying this for Coleman, even for a rookie, especially where he was drafted at, a rookie left tackle where he was drafted at, to play the way he played, and his slippage in play kind of happened after his injury. But to me, that was a good rookie year. I don't care what anybody tells me. And just like we talk about, I'm gonna keep saying it, just like we talk about how Connerly played well against Carter. We can say the same thing of Coleman playing well against freaking arguably the best defensive player in the NFL in Myles Garrett. So we can hold that out there too. You know what I'm saying? So when people say, well, I'm glad you're placing Coleman because we got a guy coming in. I'm like, the same art. I love Abdul Carter. I think he's the truth. One-handed killer. That's why I call him the one-handed killer. But we can say the same thing about Coleman, about what he did against Myles Garrett. To say like, damn, you did it against Myles Garrett. That means it's in you to be like that. You know what I'm saying? So
no facts, because Coleman did so well last year that we could have not drafted Conley Jr. and I still would have felt pretty good about the O-line.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
Right
like we're gonna get Cosme back, and like I still would have I don't feel great about Allegretti, but I still would have been comfortable with what it was. But to me, this makes your offensive line elite. This makes them elite.
Yeah.
Well, and we'll see when you still got to play, on paper, you still got to get out there and see what it is. But this could be a push to be an elite line.
It definitely is. And I do something you did say, like what he's going to be tested like he is, man. You got Look, the Giants, you know, they still got Thibodeau, and they obviously who they picked up in the draft from Carter. You got the Cowboys got two right now. They got Micah and they got old boy from Boston College. I'm sorry, like that's scary in its own right. In terms, so he's gonna be tested. Like, and the Eagles, they're gonna be tested. Like Tunsil is proven, so we kind of what you get with Tunsil, but even Tunsil's going to be tested. Let me put that out there. Even Jeremy Tunsil.
Wow, you know what just clicked in my head, because Bryce made the point about moving Coleman to the inside, and you just said the Eagles. Who do the Eagles got rushing from the inside, bro?
Yeah, the best,
probably you have to solidify that, bro. You definitely got to solidify that.
Nah,
go ahead.
Go ahead.
No, you get.
I was gonna say and then I know I'm on the Twitter sphere for the Commanders, all crazy. And I saw some folks criticizing the second round pick just from the perspective that we should have went edge in that second round. There was a couple guys there. Landon Jackson was there, a couple other players, right? Yeah. But to the point that both of y'all are kind of making, right? Like O-line, like Rome said, we might be elite on O-line. So going into the draft, we were way closer to having an elite O-line than we were to having an elite D-line. We still about three or four pieces away from having an elite D-line.
Facts.
One piece away from having an elite O-line, right?
Facts. That's a good point,
the same thing from the cornerback position, right? You say, all right, Marshawn played up to his potential. We saw what we got in Mikey, right?
Yeah.
We way closer to having an elite cornerback group than we are to having an elite D-line. So, I like Adam Peters' thought process. Is let's try to make a couple groups elite instead of spreading the talent around amongst every group evenly. Let's have a couple of elite groups. And now we could be going to the season with an elite offensive line and an elite cornerback group if Trey Amos takes that step and is able to, man one side and kick Mikey on the inside. We know what Mikey bringing, right? Mm-hmm. We might have two elite groups for the first time, where last year all we had was an elite quarterback, right? Mm-hmm. We might have three elite groups. We might have elite quarterback, elite O-line, and elite corners this year. And that's the risk I think Adam Peters took, and I like that a lot.
See, that's why I like having you guys on. You know how to change my mind. I like that. You know what I mean? Like the way, I like that thought process. Real talk. They are that makes a lot of sense. They're closer now to having an elite group than they were last season. An elite,
definitely.
At least, you look at, you're right. You see what, if Connolly, because let's be real. Usually when a tackle moves the guard, they play way better. I'm not going to lie to y'all. We all know this. This is the thing. And Brandon Coleman to me fits the prototype of a guy who can be an all-pro guard to me. And then you got Connolly Jr., who a lot of people like. Some people like the best tackle in the draft. Some people did like him as the best tackle in the draft. And say he pans out as a right tackle. He's playing for a right-handed quarterback. He's playing the easier side, to be honest with you, because a mobile right-handed quarterback can see the rush. So say he pans out. Then you have an elite offensive line. Tunsil is Tunsil, right? You're probably gonna have, and when Cosme gets back and healthy, you're gonna be a problem. And then on the flip side, if Marshawn is Marshawn, he can lose a step or two. But if he's basically still Marshawn, Mikey still progresses, and Amos has a really good if he has a Mikey kind of year, you're looking at a top tier group. So I totally agree with that. Mike has a question for the group. Mike says, "Are you guys comfortable with our same tight end core?" I'm gonna start with you, Bryce, because you kind of smiled when you saw this question.
Yeah, I like this question a lot, and the reason I like this question is because I wouldn't have been mad if they took a tight end in the first round if one of them boys dropped to us, right? Okay. If Loveland or Warren ended up dropping to us, I would have been totally on board with that, right? Mm-hmm. I think our tight end group really comes down to a couple of things. One, we know we're getting with Zach Ertz, right? We're getting steady and reliable with Zach Ertz. And I'm cool. If tight end is one of the positions, I'm cool with steady and reliable.
Right.
But last year, we used a late second round pick. We used a second round pick on Ben Sinnott. Mm-hmm. And I was expecting big things from Ben Sinnott last year in the pre-draft process. I liked him in the pre-draft process last year.
Me too.
And what I'll say about him is he didn't do much, but when it got to that playoff game, hey, bro, we done been Skins fans for a long time. How many times have we have seen an amazing play about to happen for the Skins, like that fake punt in the Bama drop in the Bama pass, bro?
Yeah.
Sinnott caught that joint and turned it up. I was like, hey, we got something, right? It's not like he had 500, 600 yards for the season, but that one catch let me know we had something. So I'm not I'm not overly impressed with the tight end room, but I think you got Sennett in there. You got some potential. I think with John Bates, I love re-signing him because I feel like he's, if not the best blocking tight end in the league, one of them.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? I really feel like we got one of the best blocking tight ends in the league. So I would say the tight end room, I like it from a steady standpoint, but from a potential standpoint, it all rests on the shoulders of Ben Sennett. And I think Ben Sennett got something. I just think tight end, out of all the positions, bro, tight end might be. This is why boy from the Raiders was so impressive. I can't remember his name.
Oh man, Bauer is so like.
That's why he was so impressive. Because tight end is one of the hardest positions.
It is, man. It is the hardest position.
You playing two positions.
Yeah.
You basically playing O-line and you playing receiver.
And receiver.
You know yeah, so it's like, and then when you come from certain schools that was only asking you to do very simple things, like Ben Sennett came from Kansas State, they wouldn't ask him to do a whole bunch over there, right?
They weren't,
You get to the league, they ask you to do a whole bunch. You basically learning two positions. It's tough to translate. Usually we see tight ends break out in like year 3, 4. I mean, look at Trey McBride from the Cardinals, right? Or look at
look at Pitts. Look at they has.
Or I think about a guy like Darren Waller. Like it took him about 6 seasons until he really broke out. But that's just how. Like that's how. Look at Likely, right? The Ravens. But that's how it is with tight end. You know what I'm saying? It takes a few seasons. So maybe this is Sennett's breakout, and if it is, man, that would bode very well for the offense. Another weapon for Jayden.
That's an excellent point because, like, I think the fan base gives Bates a lot of crap sometimes because he's not necessarily like a great receiver. But to Bryce's point, like, you throw Bates in there 2-3 plays in a row, he's blocking Myles Garrett. Now all of a sudden I'm telling him to run a post and make the catch. Like 2 seconds ago, you was an extra left tackle. You know what I'm saying? Now I need you to go beat Terry. It's a quick switch, and only I think some people get spoiled when they see like a George Kittle. Like that's a rare talent, bro. Yeah. Like to be able to block like that and then go run a route, and like not everybody can do that.
Yeah, you describing me. I'm petty when it comes to Bates. I hate that he can't catch at times. I hate when he fumbles the ball. I like when I look at him, like you can block though, so it's good. Like you can block.
Yeah,
I'm petty. I'm real. Like when it comes, he
got to reel them passes in, bro. Because it's like you can't. Also to Bryce's point, you can't be a one-trick pony because like Bates is one of the best blocking tight ends in the league. But that kind of tips your hand. So you got to be able to catch a couple of them, bro.
Yeah, like petty Murphy. Yeah, I'm petty. I'm very petty. Yeah, I'm very petty. I'm very petty. I can't help it. Yeah, just when it comes to him. But yeah, I do think that, like to your point, he's a very good blocking tight end. He's like a very good blocking tight end. So actually, we gotta end the show pretty soon. I promised you fellas a certain time. I'm not gonna lie to y'all.
Oh no, we good.
Y'all good?
Yeah.
Y'all good? Yeah. Let me know. Okay. Oh, I'm sorry. So in terms of in terms of like for Jayden, like obviously we know like Jayden was him, but who do you feel like could have a better year? And I'm talking about not better than Jayden, but who do you feel out of this class could have a better year? I'm gonna say the second best rookie on the squad. So that'd be Mikey, right? Who could have a better year than Mikey from this unit, from this group of guys?
Oh man,
that's tough because
Jayden is a whole different. Jayden is like a whole different beast. So we can't use Jayden. You know what I mean? But who can have it? So we all could agree that Mikey was the second best rookie on the squad, right?
Yeah.
So who can have a better year than Mikey from this unit?
That's a tough question. I mean, obviously I'm high on Ja'Cory, right? I think he can have a big impact. When we talk about like better year, man, okay. I think potential, right? Because when we talk about better year, Coach Lamar took the words out of my mouth.
Okay, go ahead.
Jaylen Lane, I'm gonna say this about Jaylen Lane, bro. Right. And if you look at his stats, you're not gonna be all that impressed. But that quarterback play at VTech was awful, bro.
It was though.
It was awful, man. Like I went back and watched the tape, and bro running wide open down the field. They just not getting him to rock, and the only way they could get him to rock was on bubble screens and reverses and little trickery that is like not ideal for a receiver at the end of the day, right? And then Ron brought the point about him being a punt returner. So Jaylen Lane stepping into that, because Debo is in a realm of his own, right? He's in his own position. He's like that Joker position. He a totally different animal, right? But you talk about Jaylen Lane possibly stepping into that Diami role. And if you give him that full Diami role, I think he outperforms what Diami did.
You think so? You think
he does, right? And if he gets that type of targets, I think he outperforms with Diami. I think he's a better prospect than what Diami Brown was. I think he's a better player than Diami.
He really thinks he's
I don't know if he's gonna give us his first year. I don't think he'll give us what we saw from Diami last year. Diami started to come on, especially towards the end.
Playoff Diami is different.
I agree with you though, Bryce, because
he fumbled that rock.
I know that blew me too. I'm like,
that was why I had Lane as my dark horse for potentially the most impact, because I think he's also going to have the least amount of stress or pressure, so to speak, right? Like we talked about how those other guys are going to get baptized by fire, right? If you Amos, you facing AJ Brown, Devontae Smith, Conley's going against Parsons and all the dogs, but if you're Lane and you faster than everybody, and you got to return a punt. Like that's your wheelhouse. That's what you good at. That's the easy transition, you know. If they telling you to run a deep post, a deep go every other route, you just outrun everybody. All you really gotta do is you got Jaden dropping you the dimes, just upgrade a QB play for you. You know what I'm saying? You got Cliff scheming you open on screens so you can break it to the house. I would not be surprised if by the end of the season we're all saying that Jalen Lane has had the biggest impact as the rookie, and you know, I just really wouldn't. I think he's got the least amount of pressure, and he can just go in there and ball out.
And you know why I think he could outperform Diami is because Diami was. We all will agree on the offense last year. Diami was the fastest dude we had, right?
Yeah, by far, yeah.
Diami is a 4.4 guy. 4.44.
Yeah.
Jalen is 4.34.
Some people think he's faster than that. Some people think he's faster than that. They think he's faster than that.
Yeah, like he and I think they said it at the VTech Combine. He's talking faster than his.
They said that was
in his NFL Combine.
Yeah,
he's
faster than that. He's actually
NFL Combine. He clocked 4.34, bro. Yeah. I don't know the last time we had 4.34 on our team. This is the crazy part. It's 4.34, bro, at receiver. Typically doesn't fall to the
that's what I was about to say.
Yeah.
Right. It typically don't fall that low, bro. And the reason he did is because the stats wasn't there. But I'm gonna tell you another player whose stats wasn't there. And I hate to compare guys, but Tyreek Hill's stats wasn't there in college, bro.
They weren't though. They weren't.
But you know what he had? 4.3 speed. Right? That 4.3 speed, you can't teach that, man.
Speed kills, bro.
It do.
Speed kills.
His speed looked different though. Sorry, cheetah speed look a little different. I ain't gonna hold you. That thing look different. He look as wild. Like he run fast, but he look fast. Like he look.
Yeah, fast. He do look fast.
You know what I'm saying? Not to say that Jalen Lane, he look fast. I'm not. It's almost like I'm always real scared about just like leaning on speed because, it's because like old boy who played in Seattle, played for Washington in college. He went Ross, because Ross was fast as hell. Yeah. And he went to and he just couldn't get right in the league. You know what I mean? And he was like one of the fastest dudes, period. Right. So yeah, and said Terry, same thing, but ran a 4.36. But we'll see. Like we'll see how it is in the NFL. I do feel like to your point though, I do feel like he has the least amount of pressure and that's why I think he could have a fantastic year because all the great points you all made about the other positions, like cornerback, he's gonna have to see this receiver. Like tackle, they're gonna have to see this edge, right? He's probably gonna see like a lesser tier cornerback on him. Like Terry is gonna see a dog, Debo gonna see a dog. He's probably when he gets in it, he's probably gonna arguably see if Noah's ahead of whoever. He's probably could see the third or fourth best corner of your team. You know what I mean?
Bro, Cliff is gonna cook with these screens with Lane, bro. I'm telling you, bro. You saw all the screens last year. Lane is gonna break a screen.
And he's physical too. He's physical too.
I like what Paul said. Paul just gave me another parallel right here. Paul said Terry same thing, but ran a 4.36, right? Yeah. And the funny thing about this is, remember when we drafted Terry?
Yeah, it's true. That's where.
What do we draft him to be? What are we drafting to be?
Punt returner.
Special teamer, right? Yeah, all they was telling us what he's going to be. And they say the same thing about Jalen Lane. They saying he's going to be a special teamer. And sometimes you find those diamonds in the rough like that. Another thing I say about Jalen Lane is I started doing research on him. Son of a coach, son of a football coach, dad a lifelong football coach, man. I don't take stuff like that for granted.
Nah, that's a key. That's a key. Honestly, look, hey, y'all heard it here first, man. Don't be shocked when Jalen Lane is out there come September, October making plays. I really think I'm switching my original answer, man. I'm gonna go with my dark horse, dog. I really think Jalen Lane will be the most impactful rookie because I think what's gonna happen is, and we've kind of beat this point up now, but Amos and Conley are going to see some dogs. They're gonna have their moments of getting beat. They're gonna have their bumps. But I think Lane is gonna get opportunity after opportunity, and with that kind of speed and Jalen as your quarterback, he's going to knock those out the park.
Yeah, I think he's gonna. I think he's gonna have a niche. I do think teams. He's gonna fry on teams. Like I do believe that he's going to fry on teams. I mean personally, I think that Amos has an opportunity to be just as good as Mikey. The way the way the team is, his rookie year to be just as good as Mikey. Just the way it's going to play out. I think I do want to put a comment that Todd said that can hinder it though, because I do think safety play wasn't kind of addressed. I'm concerned about our depth at safety, mainly strong safety. Letting Chin go bothers me. Except for the championship game, dude was solid the whole year. Locked most tight ends down last year. He sure did. He was really good against tight ends. Yeah, I just feel like, I mean, I like Quan, so I do like Quan Martin. I like Quan, but I do think that on the other safety, that's an issue. Like I know they got the kid from New Orleans, but I don't think it's an upgrade from Jeremy Lin. I said Jeremy Lin. I said Jeremy Chin. I'm thinking basketball. I'm a hooper. Yeah, for Jeremy Chin. So I don't know if it's an upgrade. Do you feel like that's going to be an issue? Bryce, I'm starting with you.
Damn, man. Yeah, that's probably the biggest hole outside of obviously like edge rusher. We can say edge rusher all we want, but you know, I like bringing in Wise. But I said our biggest hole right now probably is that second safety spot. I'm with you. I like Quan Martin a lot. I think he showed us. I mean, how could we argue with a pick six in the Detroit game, right?
Yeah.
But I do think the boy from New Orleans will surprise us a little bit.
Okay.
Harris.
Harris, you're right.
Yeah. I liked him. I liked him in New Orleans. In fact, I thought he flashed when we played him.
Yeah.
I think he's one of those. I think he's actually very similar to Chin.
Yeah, but he's similar. He is similar.
I don't know. Attacking safety, right? He's a hitter.
Yeah.
Not so much a coverage guy.
Yeah.
I like him enough, but I also like. I don't know if y'all remember my man from last year, undrafted free agent.
That's who I like. That's who I like.
I like Tyler Owens too.
I think Tyler Owens can take it. I think Tyler Owens could be. I prefer him more than Will Harris. To be real with you, I prefer Tyler Owens, and I know they like him a lot too. Like I know that for a fact they like him a lot.
And then like another thing too is I think they like those hybrids, right? Mm-hmm. And I think you can see some situations where we go speed on the back end and we rock with Quan and Percy Butler, and then throw my man that we just drafted, Kane Madrano in there, kind of as like your big in the box, big nickel almost, right? They like to run that big nickel sometimes. I think you can see. That's another pick I kind of like. A little sneaky pick I like was Kane Madrano out of UCLA.
You like him? Okay.
I do like him. Him. But the reason I like him is because I was in the pre-draft process. I was watching his running mate, which was Schlesinger. I'm butchering that name, I'm sure. Cole Schlesinger, whatever man name is. Linebacker from UCLA. And the whole time I'm watching his tape, I'm like, yo, who is number 20 that keep getting picks, taking him to the crib, getting fumbles, forced fumbles left and right? I'm like, who is this dude? Now, he was missing some tackles. No cap. Like, he was missing tackles, bro.
Yeah.
Converted wide receiver, though, so he's got that athletic ability. I wouldn't be surprised if we see some more mixing and matching with that safety position, really according to the down and distance. I don't know if we I don't know if we just have a safety this year that's locked into that strong spot, play in, play out. I think it's going to be a lot more mixing and matching.
Yeah, let me answer this question real quick before I go to you, Rome, because someone's questioning about why I like Quan. Oh, it's easy because he played well last year. That's why Quan can cover. I mean, he's a guy who can play nickel if you needed to. He can play nickel and he can play safety. That interception you had he read it like. He said, I think he said, I could have got, no, you couldn't have got an interception. Quan read that, and he took it to the house. He took it and made a play and took it to the house. It wasn't that he made the play and took it to the house. So it's like he has that ability. And Quan has always been, he's around the ball. Quan is solid.
He's a good deep safety. He's not, I wouldn't say he's a lead or, top 10 or something like that, but he could play the position for sure.
He's good. And to be honest with you, if he played safety as soon as he got into the league, Ron wasn't playing with him, making him play nickel, Quan would be a way better safety than he is right now. So I guarantee you Quan's going to make a bigger jump next season. Can guarantee it that Quan will have a bigger jump next year. No, under this regime, knowing the system, Quan will be even better next year.
Yeah, I think Quan makes a leap. I definitely do.
I think Quan. Yeah, I ain't gonna lie to you. I'm not the biggest Percy Butler. This dude here, though, I'm not a big fan of Percy Butler.
Nobody likes Percy.
I used to rock with Percy, bro, but whenever I throw the all 22 on, man, like of all the DBs, including Jeremy Chin last year, bro, Percy was the main one that was out of position, bro.
All the time, bro.
Percy definitely
I don't know what
got
Percy's
the awareness.
seeing.
I will say that Percy awareness is, but I do like Percy as what you call picking the crash out. I feel like Percy willing to crash out when it comes to hitting sometimes.
He is though. He is facts. That's
like
a fact.
Percy will come up and hit, bro. And I like the combination of speed and willingness to hit. But yeah, I think Percy. I think they kind of liked Percy last year, personally.
They love Percy. They do.
Yeah.
That's why I do think, to your point, this is the thing. When like the would let me know that how much they like Percy is this. Like Will Harris, who everybody thinks is going to start, his contract isn't like really a thorough starting contract. Like his contract isn't that much to be a starting safety. I know so that tells me it's going to be a competition between him and Percy.
Yeah,
because it's not going to be Will Harris is going to be the starting corner. It's going to be a competition.
And I think with the DBs, and this is my point about Amos earlier, is like they did this last year where they didn't really have like and Bryce kind of mentioned this, like they kind of just rolled with it with the different formations, down and distance. Like there was no really set starting safeties or DBs. Like Chin was in on the rundowns. You had Quan and Percy if it was a deep, if they felt like it was going to go deep. So I think it's definitely going to be a solid rotation at that safety spot.
Yeah. Hey, Todd, you dirty, dog. You know what I'm saying? I thought I would be hating on. Not hating. I thought I was mean on Percy, but you like that. You going in. Like
47 is great.
Yeah, 47. Dang.
Yeah, that man a Quentin Dunbar, bro. 47.
Not the
Quentin Dunbar number, man. That's crazy work.
That's wild. Yeah, that's nasty work, Todd. That's nasty work. Give it Quentin Dunbar. Oh, good God. All right, so I'm gonna ask you this question, Rome. What's the ceiling? Because you changed yours to Lane. What's the ceiling for Lane? Like, what's his ceiling?
His ceiling is number 2 receiver. Bryce brought the point up earlier. You know, receivers come in, you're told they're only going to be special teams. And the more that I think about it, man, a guy with 4.3 speed that plays wide receiver, and you only play punt returner if you can make plays. Those are the only guys that get the chance to do that. They're playmakers. So obviously, with the ball in your hand, you can do something. Mm-hmm. So poor quarterback play in college. You're now going to an elite quarterback, one of the rising quarterbacks in the league. I think the writing's kind of on the wall. Like, again, he's got to take advantage of the opportunities he gets. We all three said Debo's isn't a typical receiver. He's his own special category. So as far as straight wide receiver, Lane probably gonna get some snaps. And if he can catch on early in preseason, then by the time, like that comment says, by the time October rolls around, he can easily be wide receiver 2.
Okay. Number 2, that Debo got money, huh? That money play a role.
Well, yeah.
That money play a role. I know people don't like to hear it. That money do play a role, and they traded for him too, so he's gonna get all the opportunity to make sure he's sticking number 2. Bryce, what about you, bro? Like in terms of you picking Merritt, right? It's Merritt. Oh, you chose Merritt, right? Merritt. In terms of Merritt, what do you think his ceiling is?
I mentioned this dude earlier, and I see little shades of Bucky Irvin, man.
Okay.
What he did with the Bucks last year, I could see it. I can see it happening. I can really see it happening pretty quickly if he's able to take that starting role from B Rob. But I just think he's got enough explosiveness to get to that second level more often than B Rob did, and maybe not grind out the hard yardage. When we talk about ceilings, if he ends up being a Bucky Irvin anywhere near that, I think we hit jackpot on the 7th pick.
Yeah, I agree. If he can be Bucky Irvin, you said last week in September. That's when he's going to start. Dang, Paul, you think so?
No love for B-Rob, bro.
Hey, yo, I'm gonna be real. Y'all hate on B-Rob so hard, bro. It's not even funny. B-Rob, I can guarantee you this. If anything about B-Rob. He hears all the noise because he's one of them kids that view social media. He's one of them. So he hears all the noise and he takes it to heart. He gonna come into this thing. He gonna come into camp very motivated, very motivated, very, very motivated. I do think he's gonna start, and he's gonna because they like him. They like B-Rob. They do like B-Rob. He's gonna start the season, and he's gonna start well. And when he starts well, I want to hear some people who don't like B-Rob. I want to hear what y'all got to say when that starts. I want to say if you come out and say it ain't going to last. I'm cool. At least you consistent. But I don't want to hear you cheering like this dude going to be good throughout the season because y'all didn't let it be known already how y'all feel about B-Rob. Y'all let this thing be known like y'all have no belief in B-Rob. Like I look, that man started the season and everybody was like quiet. Like he started the season right. And nobody was like, oh, B-Rob looks good. B-Rob and Eckler are the best combo, blah, blah, blah. As soon as that man got hurt and was not the same, y'all turn on that dude. Y'all dirty as I don't know what. I want to keep like y'all dirty. How many snaps will Debo get at running back? I mean, it's Debo, man. He gonna get snaps. He don't get snaps at running back.
I think he's gonna line up everywhere. Cliff got to get creative with Debo. He can line up wide receiver, running back, tight end, maybe a wildcat. Who knows?
They say he was motivated last season.
He was though. He was. He's right. And how he started the season though? How did he start the season though? He started pretty good, right?
My main thing for B-Rob this season that I'm gonna be checking for is what's he doing in week 14 after Thanksgiving. After Thanksgiving, that's what I want to see. Yeah. That's the next step for him.
I'm cool. Look. You're gonna keep that energy. I trust you, Ron. I'm just talking about these people on the day. I want them to keep this energy. Like I want them to say in the beginning of the season if he's balling, I just want them to say like, I'm gonna wait till week 14. I'm cool with that. But I want to see y'all cheering when he's doing well. Because I don't want to the way because y'all hate is real. Like your hate is too real. It's too real, man. Like it's not even funny. Like I just want y'all to be like B-Rob. I don't trust it. If he starts the journey with like 300 yards games in a row, say I don't believe it. I'm cool with that. Then I know y'all consistent. But don't be like, oh, B-Rob, he's trained. No, I don't want to hear that. Like, I want y'all to be consistent. I know y'all gonna turn on him eventually when he had that one bad game. Because as soon as he had that bad game, then y'all gonna be like, oh, he sucked. He got walked. He ain't good. Well, B-Rob runs like 20-yard run. Merritt will take the use to the he will take it to the house. I mean, he got good speed. I'm not gonna lie. But B-Rob be breaking tackles though. He be breaking tackles. Y'all acting like B-Rob don't break tackles. Do y'all remember that game against the Eagles on Monday night when he was like that man could not go down? Like we leaned on that dude. Like y'all act like this dude is y'all really act like B-Rob is thorough trash. That's what gets me. Like there's levels to this.
Real, man. I like B-Rob. B-Rob problem in our O-line last year is B-Rob's the type of runner that needs to get ahead of steam. Yeah, you're not getting ahead of steam if you're getting hit at the line every single play, man. So second half of the season, bro, our O-line wasn't really getting much of a push up front, man. You give B-Rob a little bit of that push up front, you're gonna see what you can do. Yeah,
she said Merritt did a lot with the ass O-line play.
Hey, he was winning them boys games at New Mexico, bro. I'm talking about every game today. I think they won like 4 or 5 games. Every game that they won, he went for like 120, bro. A couple times.
I ain't gonna lie. I'm interested to see this dude because I'm not gonna act like I like watch all dudes play the games. I'm not gonna check this tape. I'm not gonna act like I didn't. I'm not gonna lie. I don't be caring. Like I ain't gonna lie to y'all. I don't be caring. I want to see it like in camp. I want to see it in preseason. Actually, I want to see it in preseason. I don't care. Camp is BS too. I want it like because you're not really tackling the backs in training camp. But I want to see it in like a preseason game. Like because he's a 7th round pick, so he's gonna play. Like no disrespect when I say that, he's gonna play.
He's gonna get his time in the preseason. I think he's gonna cook too in the preseason.
Yeah. So I want to see
his preseason work will be what gets some snaps in the regular season for sure.
Yeah, I just want to see it, and if I see it look all right, then I'll be like, all right, bet. You know what I mean? Like I'm a believer in like I don't want to hear no reporter telling me.
But before we wrap up, because I know we're still early in April, right? But like this season, because I know it's a lot of Commander fans tuning in. This season, man, I want y'all to be hyped. I feel like last season we were all kind of like tiptoeing with Jaden because of the shit we saw with RG, right? Yeah. So like I need everybody to be hyped. Like when we see Lane and Jacory making plays early in the preseason, we could poke our chest out this year. I know the season ended bad last year, but we could poke our chest out this season.
Could B-Rob be the backup returner? Yeah, y'all trash. Y'all nasty.
Damn, bro.
Y'all nasty.
They hate B-Rob.
I'm telling you, bro, they nasty. I'm telling you, that's why I want this. I want to smoke with these folks, man. And I love these dudes in the chat. They know I got much love for them. No, I said 11. Yeah, he did though. He said 11-6 last year. He did.
If B-Rob get 1,200 yards the next season, I need to see some number 8 jerseys.
That's what I'm saying. I just want y'all to keep that energy. That's all I want. Keep that energy. That's all I want y'all to do.
Yeah, I don't know if B-Rob get you. That's one. I think that's the thing the reason the fan base been so hard on B-Rob is because he still hasn't given us that 1K.
That's true.
That's exactly why. That's exactly why.
He ain't got that 1,000, bro. And
because Gibson gave us that once, right? Gibson gave us 1,000 yards one year.
Yeah, Gibson gave us 1,000. He gave us 1,000. I like what Coach Lombard said, man. B-Rob could be David Montgomery. If B-Rob could be David Montgomery, we can have my man Croskey-Merritt come in and be our version of Jahmyr Gibbs. He ain't gonna be Gibbs, but he could be our version.
Who could have been Gibbs? You know who could have been Gibbs? You know,
I know.
Travion Henderson could have been Gibbs. God damn it. Hey, let him go.
I'm with you there, bro.
Dude, I was like, y'all want Jahmyr Gibbs? You already had him. Just pass them on him. It's all good, though. It's all right. It's all right. It's all right. All right, man. We're going to close the show out. Before we close the show out, I want y'all to make sure y'all plug your show, plug when you go on live, when you go on, all your shows. You have multiple shows. And just, plug your socials as well.
Yeah, definitely tap in with us every Tuesday, live around 10 o'clock on YouTube. Sports for the Culture. We'll be there every week. And then the Herald to the Culture. As we get closer to the season, we'll have more episodes, but we'll be out there once a week. And follow us on Twitter. We'll definitely keep y'all updated.
Yeah, the socials is at Good Ass Sports on everything. Good Ass Sports, just like it sounds. And then for the YouTube, go to Gas Sports Network.
All right, I know, man. Hey, anyway, man, I appreciate everybody for pulling up, tuning in. I appreciate these fellas, man. Great content. Make sure you subscribe to all their content on YouTube. Follow them on X, follow them on IG, all social platforms. Make sure you follow them. But yeah, man, appreciate y'all pulling up. Anyway, you've been listening to the Urban Sports Scene for ages. You dig? Deuces, we are out.